For decades, Linux has been called the operating system of the future. The joke became so common that many people stopped believing it would ever happen. Windows dominated personal computers, macOS ruled the premium market, and Linux remained the favorite choice for developers and enthusiasts. But something has changed over the last few years. Quietly, without flashy advertising campaigns or billion-dollar marketing budgets, Linux has started reaching a point that many thought was impossible. In 2026, the desktop Linux experience is no longer just improving, it is finally becoming mainstream. This shift didn't happen overnight. It was the result of thousands of developers contributing to open-source software, hardware manufacturers paying more attention to Linux compatibility, and millions of users looking for alternatives. Unlike previous years, people aren't switching to Linux just because they love technology. They're switching because Linux now solves real problems that many computer users face every day. One of the biggest reasons is performance. Modern computers are becoming more powerful, yet many users feel their systems are getting slower after major operating system updates. Extra background processes, increasing hardware requirements, and unnecessary software can make even capable machines feel less responsive. Linux takes a different approach. Most Linux distributions are designed to stay lightweight, allowing computers to focus their resources on the tasks users actually care about. This has become especially important as older hardware continues to serve millions of people around the world. A laptop that struggles to run the latest version of Windows can often feel surprisingly fast after installing Linux. Instead of replacing perfectly good hardware, users are discovering that a different operating system can give their machines several more years of useful life. That alone has convinced countless people to give Linux a serious chance. Gaming has also experienced a remarkable transformation. For years, gamers avoided Linux because many popular titles simply didn't work. That reputation is slowly disappearing. Compatibility technologies have improved dramatically, making thousands of Windows games playable on Linux with little or no additional configuration. What was once considered impossible has become surprisingly routine, encouraging many gamers to experiment with Linux without giving up their favorite titles. The success of handheld gaming devices has accelerated this trend even further. Millions of people have now experienced gaming on Linux without even realizing it. These devices demonstrated that Linux could deliver excellent gaming performance while maintaining stability and efficiency. As developers optimized their games and compatibility tools improved, confidence in Linux gaming continued to grow throughout the industry. Another major factor is the rise of open-source applications. Years ago, switching to Linux often meant giving up familiar software. Today, web applications, cross-platform tools, and open-source alternatives have dramatically reduced that problem. Many people now spend most of their time inside a browser, making the underlying operating system less important than it once was. If your favorite apps run on the web, switching operating systems becomes much easier. Developers have played a huge role in Linux's growing popularity. Modern software development increasingly revolves around technologies that work exceptionally well on Linux. Containers, cloud-native applications, programming frameworks, automation tools, and server environments all have deep roots in the Linux ecosystem. As more students learn programming and more professionals enter software development, many naturally choose Linux because it matches the environments they use every day. Artificial intelligence has also contributed to Linux's momentum. Most AI frameworks, machine learning tools, and research platforms are designed with Linux in mind. Developers building AI applications often find Linux provides better flexibility and easier access to powerful development tools. As AI becomes a larger part of everyday computing, Linux continues benefiting from its strong position in this rapidly expanding field. Privacy has become another powerful reason for people to reconsider their operating systems. Many users are paying closer attention to how their data is collected and used. Linux distributions generally provide greater transparency because their source code is publicly available. While no operating system guarantees complete privacy, Linux gives users more control over what runs on their computers and how their systems are configured. Customization has always been one of Linux's greatest strengths, but it has become much more accessible. In the past, changing the appearance or behavior of Linux often required technical knowledge. Today, desktop environments have evolved into polished, user-friendly experiences that allow people to personalize their systems with only a few clicks. Whether someone prefers a Windows-like interface, a macOS-inspired layout, or something completely unique, Linux offers an impressive range of choices. The software installation experience has improved dramatically as well. Modern package managers, graphical software centers, and universal application formats make installing applications much simpler than it used to be. Instead of searching random websites for installers, users can often find trusted applications directly through their distribution software store. This creates a safer and more convenient experience, especially for newcomers. Hardware support has also reached new levels. Graphics cards, Wi-Fi adapters, printers, audio devices, and modern processors receive far better Linux support than they did just a few years ago. Major hardware manufacturers increasingly recognize Linux as an important platform, leading to better drivers and smoother installation experiences. While occasional compatibility issues still exist, the overall experience has improved significantly. Laptop users are benefiting as well. Battery life, power management, suspend functionality, and performance optimizations have all received continuous attention from Linux developers. Many modern laptops now work exceptionally well with Linux right out of the box, something that was far less common in the past. This improvement makes Linux a realistic option for students, professionals, and everyday users alike. Businesses are beginning to take another look at Linux desktops too. Subscription costs, hardware upgrades, and licensing expenses can become significant for large organizations. Linux offers flexibility, security, and long-term stability that appeal to many businesses, particularly those with technical teams capable of managing deployments. While Windows remains deeply established in many workplaces, Linux is gradually finding new opportunities across different industries. Education is another area where Linux continues gaining ground. Schools, universities, and training programs increasingly introduce students to Linux because it encouraged learning and experimentation. Instead of treating computers as closed systems, Linux allows curious users to understand how operating systems actually work. This educational value creates a new generation of users who feel comfortable using Linux long before they enter the workforce. Community support remains one of Linux's greatest advantages. Unlike proprietary operating systems that rely primarily on official support channels, Linux benefits from millions of passionate users who actively help one another. Forums, tutorials, documentation, videos, and discussion communities make it easier than ever to solve problems and learn new skills. Beginners no longer have to figure everything out alone. Perhaps the most important reason Linux is becoming mainstream is that switching no longer feels like making a sacrifice. Years ago, moving away from Windows often meant giving up games, software, compatibility, hardware support, or convenience. Today, those compromises are much smaller for many users. Instead of asking what Linux cannot do, more people are asking whether they still need Windows for their particular workflow. This doesn't mean Linux will suddenly replace every Windows or macOS computer. Windows still dominates enterprise desktops. Gaming compatibility continues improving rather than reaching perfection. And many creative professionals rely on applications that remain unavailable on Linux. macOS also continues offering deep integration with Apple's ecosystem. The desktop market will likely remain diverse for years to come. What has changed is perception. Linux is no longer viewed as an operating system only for programmers wearing hoodies or system administrators working in server rooms. Designers, writers, students, gamers, engineers, researchers, content creators, and everyday computer users are discovering that Linux can meet their needs without demanding advanced technical knowledge. That shift in public perception may be even more important than market share itself. The technology industry is also moving toward platforms that work across multiple operating systems. Cloud services, browser-based applications, collaborative tools, and cross-platform software have reduced dependence on any single desktop operating system. This trend benefits Linux because users are no longer locked into one ecosystem simply to access their favorite applications. In many ways, Linux's greatest strength has never been trying to copy Windows or Mac OS. Instead, it focused on becoming flexible, efficient, secure, and adaptable. Those qualities have become increasingly valuable in a world where computing extends far beyond traditional desktop PCs. From cloud servers and AI development to embedded devices and personal laptops, Linux has proven its versatility again and again. Looking at 2026, it finally feels like Linux has crossed an important threshold. It isn't becoming mainstream because of one revolutionary feature or one dramatic announcement. It is becoming mainstream because years of steady improvements have removed the obstacles that once kept ordinary users away. Better gaming, stronger hardware support, polished desktop environments, improved software availability, growing developer adoption, and increasing awareness of privacy have all come together at exactly the right time. The future of desktop computing will almost certainly include Windows, macOS, and Linux living side by side. But for the first time in history, Linux is no longer simply the operating system people recommend to curious enthusiasts. It has become a serious, practical choice for millions of everyday users. After decades of being called the operating system of the future, 2026 may finally be the year when Linux proves that the future has quietly arrived.